Hey team, Macho Models here, and today I wanted to give you a walkthrough of my workbench. So I know most of the time it's just squared in right here on my cutting mat, but I wanted to show you my creative space and where I hang out and where I do a lot of my work. So you're looking at a pulled back view here, and I'll give you some more context too about the basement. So I have my little work desk over there with my laptop and then my printer and shredder, and then I have this full-size arcade cabinet that I bought off of eBay. If you guys are curious about where I got that from, I got it for a really good deal, and I'm happy to shout out the eBay seller. He's a super good guy based out of Florida and really keen to talk to. And then I have a whole menagerie of artwork and just stuff that I either grew up with or that I find interesting, peppered around through here. One of my big hopes is when I became an adult, I wanted to kind of like build out a basement that looked like a bar or just like a big, cross section of my brain and creative stuff that I really dig. And I think I've done a pretty good job to that point. And props to Emily, who's way cool with all this stuff. So more artwork, some kind of Keen Gundam stuff. I got this poster in Japan when we were at Gundam Front Tokyo. It was one of those obscenely expensive things that you can get at the G-Self store. And then some X-Men stuff from the 90s, some Batman stuff. I also like to kind of pepper in the texture here and put some figures and some other stuff. And then looking down here, I love this Street Fighter poster from the 90s, like huge thing that I really dug. And of course you got Nixon and RoboCop over here. I got this Toro Gundam that I am going to customize at some point. Got it out in Vegas at a toy store. And I think that kind of covers it. I got this Cobra vehicle. At some point I want to repaint this too and kind of make it look a little bit more realistic. Wilford Brimley and Jean-Claude Van Damme from, I can't remember the movie. Somebody hit me up. It'll come to me when I stop thinking about it. And then as we tour here, some other stuff. Emily and I's first dance to our wedding was over here. And of course it was, I know this, stay with me, Take My Breath Away. There we go. And over here, some other kind of neat stuff. I got this Dendrobium poster from Japan. And actually, I'll cut over here really quickly. I got this really nice note from the buyer on eBay, which was pretty keen. And then coming through here, so this is where my backlog is. I don't usually like to show backlog, but this is where it exists. It's not as big as it looks like because there's Dendrobium under there, which I swear I'm going to start sometime soon, but some other stuff. I've got some more figures. This Predator Lava figure, I got that at a Comic-Con. Jean-Claude Van Damme doing a high kick in a swimsuit. That's pretty rad. And then I've got some figures and everything here, so a lot of the stuff I usually pick up. I know it says $9.99, but when I go to cons, I'll sell them for like $2 for $3. YF-19, one of my favorite mechs. I can't wait to dive into that. And over the top, Stallone representing. Got JoJo, some weird Transformers, some aliens. I want to get rid of that Cable figure. If anybody wants to make me an offer on it, I'm happy to pass it along. 90s trunks from when I was a kid, and then just kind of like a weird cross-section of other stuff over here. As you can probably tell, I'm a huge Batman fan. 89 Batmobile is the best. Fight me on that. I really dig the Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder Batman design that they did with the new 52 stuff. And then, of course, I love G.I. Joe and Snake Eyes. At some point, too, I want to try to customize these figures. I'm not really sure what I want to do with them yet, but I've been following a lot of people who do G.I. Joe customizations, and I want to get into that at some point. Street Fighter, Grifter, love Wildcats. Actually, the new run on DC is phenomenal. It's called the Wildstorm. I think Grant Morrison writes it. It's unbelievable. And then I got the Sam Keith Wolverine back there. The Street Fighter figures that my brother got me. Before I dive into Gundam stuff, I'll keep up with all the other stuff. More Grifter, Old Man Logan, Jazz, my favorite Autobot. Also got this Chibi style Devastator, which is pretty cool. And then I've got Gundam the End hanging out back there. That's another build that I want to get after at some point. Got this statue of Char. I picked that up when we were in Tokyo for our honeymoon. It was only like $45 at Akihabara Radio, which is like the best store to go to if you guys are going to Japan. Screw Mandrake Complex and all that stuff. Again, fight me. I got these cool little Zaku figures that you can stack up. My sister-in-law, when we had a party, she had a couple drinks and decided to turn it so that the butts are facing us. Picked up that Iron Man helmet on sale for $50. And then I've got some of my hobby books over here. And now I'll come down to the soup du jour. So I've got some Gundam stuff here. So most of the stuff, I know this collection might seem thin, but I sell it all on eBay. So probably my first 6 or 7 builds are all off in the world. Somebody else is enjoying them, but this is the OG. So I started with V Gundam. Emily got me that for my birthday 2-3 years ago, which kicked this whole thing off. And then most of my Converge figures, all the customized ones are listed online. I need to get these guys listed on eBay at some point. And I got my SD Gundam. I want to hopefully paint these guys too. And then the Drobium's hanging out back there and Char hanging out with a drink or something. I don't know. I love that. That's pretty rad. And then some of these snap builds. So our roommate Hillary put that one together, and she also put the Jaga Doggo, which I want to get to. I've also got this Cobra Gundam, which is one of those crazy G Gundam figures from the 90s that I want to customize, much like I did with the Mermaid Gundam a little while back. And now diving into the meat of it. I got some backlog stuff over here. So these are all of my shelves. So these are all, somebody who shot me a message, they're from Hobby Zone. You can check that out on eBay. They go for something like $22 a piece. I'm sure if I was a little bit more industrious and handy of a builder, I would have just scratch built these myself. But they're pretty good. My one complaint is that the shelf height after you, so the top height is good. Like this holds just about everything, but you can see my splash paints that are hanging out here. It doesn't hold down here. So these are really just built for like the 10 milliliter GSI, Creo, and Tamiya stuff, but it doesn't fit much else. So I bought the other shelf, which holds the bottles. However, as you can see, I'm not much of a bottle guy just yet. I'm hoping to get more of these, especially for hand painting. So I'll either expand into that, or I'll just try to sell this or give it away and then come back to this shelf, or maybe I'll finally craft something. Some other stuff you've seen, the cat scratch boards. I just get those on Amazon. They're fantastic. You can make them, but I think a 2-pack is something like 11 bucks. And then I've got my spray booth set up over here and my airbrush. So this is just that standard spray booth. I think it's something like $100. It's fine. I kind of wish in retrospect I had built something a little bit more purpose-built over here, but it's nice because I can kind of shift this around, and I really haven't needed much more space than this. And then I have that ducted over here to a window where I took a piece of 3/4 inch plywood and I just sealed it off here, and I run that out. And then I made sure to put like a little squirrel trap so that nothing can get in. And then I just closed up the window here with some duct tape. It's not pretty, but it works. Stepping back from the bench again, I've got so I built this. This is all me. This was a big weekend project. It's all 2x4s and 3/4 inch plywood. And then it's all held together. I don't think you can see it, but I just use pocket hole screws. So it's super, super sturdy. I can jump up on this and it doesn't move or it doesn't bend. And it's cool. I like it, but it was a full weekend, and with parts and labor, etc., I probably could have gone to Lowe's and bought a 8-foot by 4-foot workbench and then, been done with it in the morning. But it was a good exercise, and I like having this L thing that I built, and it's always fun to work with your hands and cut things with wood. Coming in here, I got 2 minutes left on this video before IGTV kicks me out. I've got my gloves here, and then here's where all my stickers hang out, and then I also keep all my decals and small parts here. So this is largely the current build area. These are tools that I want quick reach for. I also have here, so this is where all my paint cups are. I've got some extra hot dog bottles here. I've got some filament wire for when I hang stuff. I forgot to point out the Cobra X19. What's up? And I got some seal tape. I also use this for refilling my bottles. I think I got these on Amazon. It's, for filling stuff inside of a kitchen, but it really helps. I've got a spare needle just in case, but I also use a sharpener now. Here's the box for it. I've got the thing sitting out somewhere, but this has been pretty cool. I've used it once already. And then one more step down, I've got some sanding pads here, a hair dryer, a display base, more sanding stuff. So whenever you buy the foam pads, I always make sure to cut them up and put them into individual bags so that I can use them later on and get a lot more mileage out of them versus the entire pad, whole cloth. I got some stuff down here, and I got some other mixed tools here that I might go over another time if you guys like this, but I'm going a little long in this video. Color wheel I haven't showed. Tall geese is hanging out. I have all my detail tools, my paint brushes. I also keep all my pencils and adhesives. So, sorry, I kind of sped through that and did a little bit more personal stuff, but I hope you guys dig it, and holler at me if you got anything about your bench.